Yo, what is up? So, I thought I would make a video about a couple of things. I want to discuss the Mafia Old Country game that's coming out soon. It's coming out August the 8th. I wanted to speak about the differences between AMD and Nvidia drivers, sort of an update of my experiences, of course. Just a few various things. So it's not going to be like sort of video content playing the game or anything, but I've done this sort of thing before and people seem to like it. So I think I'll start off on another thing is I wanted to talk about GG Deals, because this is a really good website along with CD Keys, which I will talk about. But this is really good just for finding deals, and you can get sort of voucher codes, stuff like that, like discounts, and you just literally apply it, and then you can just pick a random game. So you want to look at the ones below really, and then you can just click that. So I don't usually use any other sites apart from Aniva and CD Keys. So I've noticed with CD Keys you don't get vouchers, but they're usually cheaper than Aniva anyway. So that's my number one site I go to, but if they're out of stock I will use Aniva. So you just click that and then you go to the website and then you will just apply it in there. So that's pretty good. So I did actually use it for the first Berserker. So if we type that in, so that will come up. And then you would just basically apply that, go to the website, click where you live, and then you would just look for the last price and you would just click that. So I would click that, go into, I won't go fully into it, but there will be a discount option once you click it, and then you will get money off. So that's pretty good. So I would highly recommend this website for if you're just basically, you always want to get the best deal for a game. So I'm very impressed with that. It is a brilliant website. Yeah, so that is the first thing. The other thing I want to talk about is what's the differences between the standard pack, all this deluxe edition here with the Mafia game that's coming out. So I did have well, that's the biggest picture I could find. So the Padrino pack, which is in Italian, that means the Godfather, as far as I know. So that is pretty much, I was umming and ahhing about it. What should I get, the standard or the deluxe? But it's only like £6 more expensive, and I do like the outfits in the Mafia, like in the previous games. You get a shotgun with it. You get quite a few things. I think you get some extra weapons, a race car. I think it's that. I imagine you get both vehicles there. You get a pistol with that. So for £6 I thought, blow it, I'll just get that. So with a standard pack I think you get this like pre-order bonus. I'm not totally sure what's in that, but I imagine maybe you get a horse and I'll have to, I mean you can look into it yourself, but that's what you get with the standard edition. And then you get the extra 2 packs here with the deluxe. So the soundtrack I'm not usually bothered about. I mean a lot of deluxe editions will just give you that and it doesn't bother me about that, but I was pretty happy with what I was getting with that. So you do get a few extra things with it. So that's why I've opted for the deluxe edition. As I said, that's got FSAR 4 day 1, which I'm looking forward to. So the other thing I want to talk about would be basically the differences between AMD and Nvidia drivers. So as I said before in the past, I've always found that AMD drivers just give me more stability during gaming, and I'm finding that to be the case in the last month again. So I did have a go of a few games. I mean, I've recently completed the altars, so I was trying to sort of switch between my 4090 and 9070 XT to see the differences. So I was using DualSS 4 and FSAR 4. I didn't really see much difference between the two technologies, to be honest. The other thing was I did actually crash twice on the Nvidia drivers towards the end of the game. And whereas I'm pretty sure I played more on my 9070 XT on the Altus. Probably played about 2 to 3 hours more than I did on the Nvidia drivers. Yeah, I got 0 crashes on that. So it sort of backs up what I've found in the past, that I'll just get better stability on AMD. And there was a few other games I crashed in, like I think the other one was FC25. Obviously Yakuza games, they've both been fine on that. But I did find that I actually got a hang up on Final Fantasy 16 as well. So for some reason I got a crash on FC25 and it literally just froze my computer and then I had to restart. So I wasn't sure what that was about. And I've not had that on the 9070 XT at all. Although you do get the odd crash on both with this, because it is just it's EA, they are known for that sort of thing. That's their speciality. So they will fix something and then they will break something else. So that's what EA do. Everyone knows about that. But but on this it just come up with a message, GPU something, and I've looked it up and it's apparently an issue on Nvidia for this game. So it's the first sort of crash I've had on that game, and that happened on my 4090. So that took me back a bit. And on the AMD I don't really remember this crashing at all. So there's definitely something going on between. There is a difference for me. Although it's been pretty good most of the time on the 4090, I'd say the drivers have improved on Nvidia. So it's not a video to bash on Nvidia, but I'm giving people my experience because I've used AMD and Nvidia for literally over 2 years now. I mean, it's probably, but I mean, I've always, like, I took it seriously like 3 years ago, like PC gaming, but I did have a 3070 anyway. Previous Nvidia GPUs, and although they give you the flashy lights, all the stars need to be aligned, and it just feels like you do get issues. And I think the other thing I wanted to touch on is so obviously Nvidia, they do, the one thing with Nvidia, they do give you quicker game support with drivers. You will get DLSS 4 like faster than AMD roll theirs out a lot of the time, but is that a good thing? I was having a think about it, and I don't think it is for me, because I find although Nvidia release their drivers faster than AMD, I find there is more issues with their drivers. And then I had a good thing about it yesterday, and it's not a good thing really when you actually think about it, because with AMD, I think they take their time with their drivers, and if they're going to release drivers that are crashing games and stuff like that, they tend to not release them at all. And I think that's what they're doing at the moment, because although I do think they're going to make some major changes, but I do think they tend to release their drivers like less frequently than Nvidia. So there's less issues, and I think they test them far better than Nvidia test their own drivers, because Nvidia just seem to do all these quick fixes and release them quickly. And I'm pretty sure at the pace they release their drivers, Nvidia, they're not checking everything, and this is why you get issues in certain games, crashes, black screens and all that. So, especially when you look at the 5000 series. So that's why I'm definitely seeing a consistent theme, where AMD, I just feel, I mean, pretty much all my games do not get all these hang-ups, crashes, whereas I'm finding it on Nvidia. You do get the odd crash, although it's definitely not as bad as it was, as I said. I think Blackwell is far worse I'm pretty sure about that. But yeah, there's definitely a difference in terms of stability. Although you will get like DLSS 4 fast in some games and all that. There's wider support, no doubt about that. So yeah, you get more features, but then I do think there is more stability on AMD, because there is nothing that winds me up more when I'm getting too many crashes in the game or hang-ups, because it can destroy your experience. So I think I'd rather have stability over features if I had to pick, and I'd rather wait like an extra 2 weeks for a driver from AMD if I know it's actually going to be a solid improvement. And even when there's not a driver out, I'm finding this game has been really solid, even without a driver update. So that's the other thing, I just feel, even when there's not a driver update anyway, everything feels solid. So the only time the only time you usually get issues with AMD is when Windows, bloody Microsoft, give you an update and it can break something, which is out of their control. So I think that can happen with Nvidia as well anyway. So that's not really something I'm going to discuss, but in terms of what they do, both these brands, I think that's the difference. And obviously I do prefer the Adrenaline app as well. I just feel it's more built for a gamer most of the time. So it's just my preference. I mean, as I said, I like all the colour enhancements you can do, like vivid gaming, and it just feels like in the Nvidia app, if you don't want to use MSI Afterburner, I didn't find any options. I think there is a way of doing it, but it seemed a bit, I couldn't really be bothered to do it. Whereas in the AMD, I can just enable that and it comes up when you go in the game, and it's just more logical for me. Everything in this app is more logical, where you can just do all this. There's nothing like that. And the same with the overclocking, underclocking itself. That is far better for me. So I like everything in the same app, like how AMD do it. With Nvidia, there's still not enough in there for me. So that is my opinion on that. So yeah, I think that's it's not going to be a long video, but it's just me giving my experience over the past month. I've just felt again, gaming is just more solid on AMD, and as I said, I've been using both. I've been trying to use both to see the differences. One issue I did have that I actually posted about on the AMD system, MSI motherboard, they're basically not giving me the Expo option, and then I found out it was under a different name for some reason. So when I first got my AMD system built and I put it together, I selected XMP because I couldn't see any Expo option at all, which was a bit weird, because on the Gigabyte motherboards there is always an Expo option, which is what you use for AMD, and the overclocking speed is usually like lower than the XMP, so that's why it don't work as well on AMD when you use the XMP, because it doesn't work as well with Ryzen CPUs on the AMD motherboards. That's what I read up as well. So apparently if you set the speeds a bit lower than the XMP timings, basically you get better stability, and I've definitely found that since I've found this Hynix option, which is the alternative to Expo. So I've had no issues since I've done that. So that's the only issue I had, where I felt like apps sometimes would load a bit slow or whatever, but it's been very snappy since I've gone back to the Expo. I didn't go back to it, but I've matched what I'm doing on my Nvidia system. I'm basically using Expo on both, and everything feels snappy. So that's good. This is the test I've done. It's not like it weren't stable anyway, but I did wonder maybe that I was getting some dips there because I'm using XMP. So I haven't done a test since I've changed it to Hynix, which is Expo, on the MSI motherboard. So all that pass, I mean, if you're getting over 99%, you're laughing. So, but you don't have to. You can get 98 or just over 97 and it passes. So as long as you're getting that, it's fine. But just in terms of frame rate stability, I did wonder if XMP was doing that, because I got 99.9% on the Nvidia system with a gigabyte motherboard, and I know I've been using Expo, and them timings are like literally optimised for AMD and the 9800X3D, so I got that on both systems, the 9800X3D. So since I've done that, it feels good. So I did wonder about that. But yeah, I just feel, I mean, in the Yakuza games, 100% they were worse on Nvidia drivers, and I've always wondered that. And I mean, there is the Pirate Yakuza game. So if we have a look at that, so I think that there was definitely a patch where they even said themselves that Nvidia were looking into it. There we go. So random crash on Nvidia GPUs still under investigation. So they fix that, I don't know, because when I'm playing it, mostly I'm playing it on my AMD GPU, because I know from past experience it's been better on the AMD, the Yakuza games. So I don't see why you should have to set it to 60 FPS. So I don't know, I'd have to have a look at it, because when I've loaded that up on the Nvidia GPU, I haven't done it for too long, so I haven't had a proper good go of it. But again, it just seems like the games I like perform best on AMD most of the time. So there you go. But yeah, it's not gonna. It's just me discussing my differences mainly. I've not made a video to go out my way to hate Nvidia or go out my way to hate AMD, unlike some people. So there you go. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.